Hey, good morning, guys. It's your legal bestie, attorney Simone. I'm sorry for the delay. Today we are live. We are live from a destination. Again, we are starting with it is Brendan Paul's testimony on the stand today. It's also going to be somewhat of a get ready with me episode because, as you can see, I'm naked by the ears. I don't have my earrings on and stuff. Anyway, Jesus told me to take my talents to Cancun, so I did. So I'll be joining you live today, all day. Actually, court ends today at 1 o'clock. So I will be joining you live. We're going to be breaking this down, and I have a KK update. KK is Puffy's chief of staff. I have an update. Here we go. On her that I cannot wait to deliver to you guys. But we're going to go ahead and get started with just getting caught up on this morning. Let's see. I'm going to show you the screen share with Inner City, updating us from Inner City Press. We go back and forth here on the channel from Inner City Press's updates, as well as, what's the little girl? There's another tweeter, Jules. Jules, she's puts up tweets as well. And then, of course, there's CNN and the others. Let us know where you are watching from as you come on in. Oh, okay. So, about 30 minutes ago, the judge said, a few jurors were still trickling in. Hopefully there's no more juror issues. Because I think they've got four or five alternates still left. We'll see. There was court was canceled on Wednesday because one of the alternate jurors couldn't come into court. So that's how we started. Just make sure you can see these. Hey, Columbus. All right. I think this is going to be some of the most important testimony. It's going to go one way or the other, okay? It's either going to help or do nothing. Or hurt. It could hurt. But I think this guy is particularly important. If you're unfamiliar with Brendan Paul, he was the alleged drug mule for a substance mule for Diddy. All right, so it starts out and the judge says, or the prosecution says, Your Honor, may I place a binder of documents on the witness stand? Yes, Judge, all rise. The government may call its next witness. The AUSA, first, Ms. Garagos and I will introduce some exhibits. All under seal except one, admitted. The government calls Brendan Paul. Do you recognize this person? It's Diddy in the tuxedo from the Grammys. He says, Sean Combs. I worked for him until I was arrested at a Florida airport for possession of powder in my personal assistant bag. Y'all, could you imagine? Could you imagine you just going, yes, and he is testifying under immunity. We're going to talk about that too, because I'm your legal bestie, attorney Simone. I am both an attorney and I break down legal cases as a legal analyst on national TV and social media. But can you imagine just going to work, doing your daily duties, and then boom, you get arrested for toting your boss's dope. What a day to be alive. Oh, someone said Gene Dill says this guy was already an informant before working with Diddy. Oh, that would be interesting. All right. He says, do you recognize this person? I worked for him until I was arrested at a Florida airport for possession of powder in my personal assistant bag. Why was it there? I was sweeping Mr. Combs's room. Oh my goodness, y'all. I ain't got my gavel, but I got a remote control. It'll do. Order in the court. So part of your job is to clean your boss's room, right? After the freak offs and such. Shake that Astroglide. Remember, over here we shake our Astroglide. Got a little Astroglide for you. Your job is to clean his room, and then you end up getting arrested and going to jail for that. And that was your last day of work. Did he get unemployment? How does that work? You get a severance package. Do you get a cocaine severance package? How does that work? I don't even know. Then it says, how did you come to work for Mr. Combs? Through Revolt, Ellie Maroon. He told me, get in to get out. If you have a girlfriend, break up with her. You'll never see her. Did you interview? Late October 2022 at 200 South Mapleton Drive. Oh, at Diddy's house. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna make them bigger. Apologies. There we go. Someone said, oh yeah, he's getting right into it. Wait, y'all got some comments. I got a star. Okay. Yeah, we are just hopping into this. Yeah, it wasn't personal. Here we go. Then he says, how were you greeted there? Talking about the interview. My ID was scanned and I had to sign an NDA. Frankie Santella and Christina Karam were there. KK. Did they hire you? Yes. Yes. I can't really hear this. Hold on. They said yes. I would pack a lot of joints in the garage. Weed. Excuse me. When did you meet Mr. Combs? KK came to the garage and told me to come to a listening party in the backyard and take notes. What was KK's role? We're going to talk today about KK. Y'all, I got some tea, some legal tea. The real reason KK ain't taking the stand. Stay tuned. I said, what was KK's role? Chief of staff. Helped out with the family. Did KK use Mr. Combs' phone? Yes. Ooh, what they getting into? How many assistants did Mr. Combs have? At first 5, then 4, then 2. Given my college basketball background, I helped Mr. Combs with workouts. Who's this? Jonathan Perez. And this? Butler, Frank Rodriguez. Oh, so he played basketball, y'all, for Syracuse. He is tall. I'll tell you something. When that boy came to the courthouse last week, he was spiffy. He was spiffy. He had a very nice, like, Men in Black suit, very tailored. I think it was like high water by the ankles, but I think that was intentional. He was going for a look there. His hair was well combed. I just cannot imagine. He had to be so terrified getting caught with them substances, them being his boss, and then what y'all want? It being his boss's stuff. All right, let's keep going. Hold on. Leave me alone. How about to piss me off? Hold on. Are you freaking kidding me? Hold on. Somebody's going to get cussed out. All right, let me just keep going. Oh, my room service order got canceled. I'm sorry. I'll keep going. Piss me off. All right, what did Mr. Combs' butler do? It says he would stand next to Puff, give him water, chapstick, whatever he needed. Oh my gosh, like Farnsworth Bentley, y'all. Like Farnsworth Bentley, except without the umbrella, I suppose. Did you have group chats with KK? Yes. Turn to the binder and flip through it. Who is this? Paul Fahim. We call him Fa. Fa is in the Nation of Islam. Fa don't play, y'all. Fa is one of the security guards. What was your salary? Started at $75,000 a year, then $100,000. I got paid biweekly by Combs Enterprises. Okay, Rico. Let's see what we learn about the relationship with Combs Enterprises. Where did you live? In Airbnb in LA and Miami. I wonder if he was expected to pay for his own housing in both cities. That's weird. Where did KK stay? In LA, an apartment 4 minutes, dang, from South Mapleton. In Miami, she lived in Two-Star Island. Well, no wonder KK don't want to get up there and take the stand. KK's going to be homeless. She's going to be a whole hobo if this thing don't work out. She's got to be 100% loyal to that man because Lord knows she can't get the job. They're not going to hire her at Amazon or the post office. Her name is in too much poo-poo. Did you accompany Mr. Combs to paid club appearances? Yes. He would ask for $150,000 and they'd have to sell things for him. What did you do to stay awake? Prescription at Addy and sometimes powder. I don't know. I don't do that powder, but I know about that Addy, child. It's prescribed. It's prescribed. But did you know that allegedly, like the chemicals of Addy are identical to powder? cocaine, powder. One of my little drug dealer homeboys, he told me that Addy is just a cleaner form of powder. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, because you just get to pop it in your mouth and you don't have to sniff it. I said, oh, well, there we go. What was your job? It was to make sure Mr. Combs was always happy. Oh my gosh, that he was always happy. He'd say, I don't take no for an answer. He told us to move like SEAL Team 6. Here's the thing, y'all. Here is the thing. I told y'all before when we were talking about, well, you know, the goal of the enterprise does not have to be profit, right? Shake your astro glide. Remember, I said one of the goal can be anything as long as it's a common goal. And one of the goals of the enterprise is to satisfy Mr. Combs' desires. Literally, it's in the indictment, and here he is confirming. Did Mr. Combs fire you? Yes, for forgetting his Lululemon fanny pack when he went on a walk. He said, I don't want to see your face anymore. Tell KK you are fired. What did you do? I bought a Lululemon fanny pack, got in it, and laid low. Oh, get it in. I bought a Lululemon fanny pack. I got it in and I laid low. Oh, otherwise he's probably like, oh, he'll forget about it. Like he fired me, but he needs me. So he'll probably move on. Okay. I'm so goddamn mad with this. Hold on. Okay. Then it says, did you ever complain to HR? No, that wasn't a thing. Why not? HR forgot to pull my federal taxes my first 8 months. HR even forgot to pull my federal taxes my first 8 months. You just go to Mr. Combs. In other words, like you don't go to HR. If you have an issue, just tell Diddy. Yo, that's going to be very interesting how they're saying HR is nothing. Basically, that it's not really a thing. The reason that's significant is one of Diddy's first witnesses is going to be the head of HR. Somebody named Vashta that we've been hearing about. HR even, he said, did Mr. Combs use substances? Yes. X, powder, and more. Ooh. What's in this photo? My hand with X and Tessie. Pink powder. How did you take the photo? Oh, why did you take the photo? To ask staff what to do with it after I found it. I was told to put it in his bag. Did you buy weed for him? Yes. From who? Philip Pines. Puff liked Sunset Sherbert. Philip Pines, is my understanding, is one of his former assistants who is suing Diddy, is one of Diddy's former assistants who's suing him for a variety of things. Who were the other substances Mr. Combs used? Or who were the other substance dealers, he used? One Stop, Guido, Baby Girl. And I think it's spelled OEI. Who is this? Guido. Guido generally makes like a goofy face in the photo. Is this your chat with Baby Girl? What's happening? Jonathan Perez is introducing me to Baby Girl. She asked me, is it for you or Puff? I replied, Puff. But tell anyone it's for me. Why? Puff is high profile, so he used aliases. Did Mr. Combs use Cialis? Shake that astroglide. Shake that astroglide. He used Cialis. Yes, we'd put it in his nightstand. Your message to Cialis. Your message to Love Red Phone. What does that mean? I called Puff Love. His red phone was his personal. The business phone was yellow. What did he text you? Zans. Y'all, this is distribution. This testimony is to support distribution. And yes, it's distribution. Distribution doesn't mean just sales. You don't have to sell it. Distribution means sharing it or giving it to others. Oh, and guess what? It doesn't matter if the distribution is personal or otherwise. Shake, 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 shake that astroglide, y'all. Shake it. Hey, Jameson, come on in from Maryland. Come on in here, y'all. Hit that like and hit that subscribe as you roll in. So that's my point, though. It says Kanye is setting it up, or his assistants. Fat Joe. Fat Joe, I think, got sued just now. Yes. I wonder how many people worried about being sued like this before? I don't know, Kareem. It's getting lively. Come on in here, guys. We have the Mule on the stand. We got the Mule. We're waiting for some updated tweets. We are waiting. And as we do, dang it. As we do, oh, I know what I'm looking for. We are waiting for some updated tweets. Let's see. We are looking for these tweets. ACD. All right. All right. While we're waiting for more updated tweets, I'm going to play. Remember, I'm going to play this short clip for you guys. Yep. Yep. I'm going to play this clip for you. Oh, it's not letting me play. What the heck? All right. I'll get it. I'll be adding this clip where it was my prediction of what would happen with Brendan Mule last year before he was ever indicted or arrested. All right, here we go. Then it said, the last question was, what did he text you? He said, Zans, how did you pay for substances, cash from the Gucci bag or security? Usually Fahim. Oh, Fahim, don't get wrapped up in this. Oh, Mr. Farrakhan's going to be so disappointed in you. He's from the Nation of Islam. In this text, what is flowers? Weed. Did you also call it tree? Yes. Here Fahim tells me I'll get back paid once Duke comes on shift. Did Mr. Combs have you take substances? Yes. To test his tussie. He was testing the tussie. Did you take it? I wanted to prove my loyalty. You guys, loyalty, complete and total loyalty was one of the common purposes and goals in the indictment. Listen, somebody on my page was like, oh, just because it's in the indictment, people get indicted all the time. No, goof. The indictment, if you can't meet the standards of an indictment, then it means you haven't even met the ability to go to trial. So the fact that a standard, one of the state standards was loyalty, and that another standard was satisfying Diddy's desires, that means those are legally sufficient. It would not be in an indictment if it is legally insufficient. That means you would be unindicted. That's just how that works. Here, did Mr. Combs, have you take substances? Yeah, Tissy to test it. Did you want to take it? I wanted to prove my loyalty. What were Wild King nights? Mr. Combs and significant others. Substances. SCX. Did Jane participate in Wild King nights? Yes. Did Mr. Combs' other girlfriends participate in Wild King nights? Not that I'm aware of. Well, that's interesting. Who called them Wild King nights? KK. I'd just say he was going to hotels. Now that is interesting. That's very interesting. Well, because it seemed like part of the reason KK was so pissed and irritated is she felt like she was the only one having to do that work. And it's looking right there like perhaps she, in fact, was the only one that had to do that work. That might mean she was just the best at it. I don't know. There we go. The heck? Sorry. We are updating this. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, sorry. All right, let's see. Let's update. Wait. Somebody wrote, LOL, you chose it. LOL, you chose to do that, Playboy. Not the glitter. Not the glitter. All right, so today we are live. We are live reviewing the case via tweets, updates from the court, and we're going to do some, there we go, some case updates. What the heck? Regarding everything that's been happening today, and I'll be taking questions. Now, court's going to be short today. Today, it only goes to noon Central, which is 1 p.m., and that's because it's the day after the holiday. So, yes, that's going to be interesting. But again, they've got Brendan Paul on the stand right now, and he is absolutely going to be one of the most important witnesses. God dang it. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, this is 10. What the hell? Sorry, guys. I got to figure out where I'm at. Literally. All right, let's see. We got an update here. There we are. It says, all right, I think I got one. Yeah, here we go. Did Mr. Combs stop using hotels and move them to the residences? Okay, this table is working my goddamn nerves. Hold on. It's like cockeyed. It's driving me nuts. I don't know about this resort, y'all. I don't know. I don't think this to my liking. I do like this resort. It has a whole bunch of black people. We are everywhere. And I don't like going places that don't have any black people. I feel like we're not there for a reason. Like maybe they kill us. There's a lot of black people here, but some aspects are kind of raggedy. This is, did Mr. Combs stop using hotels and move them to residences? Yes. After the Cassie lawsuit. Interesting. He said he ain't let nobody else take him down. What did you do? Clean up after. What does this say? That Jane is coming in, Brendan is setting up, Wild King Nights probable. Somebody said wilding is an understatement. We're gonna do. I want to see what Miss Thing is tweeting. That is Jewel. Let me see. What's her update? Let me see. I'm gonna compare the two. All right, let's see. Any other updates? Oh, she's got, I like these. Hold on. All right, we're going to share this tab instead. All right, make sure you guys can see this one. All right, let's pull it in. All right, and let me know. I'm going to start answering some of your questions once we get all caught up. Since that's my point. Y'all, I'm so hungry. Hold on, I gotta grab this. I'm hungry. I'm eating whatever, y'all. Forgive me. Ugh. So his girlfriends did not participate in the F-offs. Isn't that interesting? I want your thoughts on that. Why do y'all think he didn't have the other girls do it? Why do y'all think he does not have the other girls do it? Yeah, it does look like it was just Cassie and Jane. Maybe they were just the best at it. I don't know. We don't answer this. Michelle says KK could have been a key witness for the government. However, is she the privileged WG or like Epstein's side chick? She may be next. I'm going to tell you why. I don't think she could have been the government's witness. I don't think she could have at all. But I'm going to break that down for us. shortly. I got this comment starred. We're going to go back to that. All right. So these are updated tweets from Joel. She says, what were your responsibilities during those first few weeks? I worked at an LA home, mostly took orders from other assistants. Daily tasks were split: travel, logistics, packing, workouts, meals, and music related errands. Did any of those tasks involve handling controlled substances? Yes. I packed weed joints in the garage. Okay. What was your starting salary? We went over that. 75K to 100K. Can you describe the typical hours you worked while employed by him? I usually worked between 80 and 100 hours a week over 4 to 6 days, but really, I was always on call. Who paid your salary? Combs Enterprises. You mentioned frequent travel. Did you usually fly with Mr. Combs? Sometimes, maybe 3 or 4 times on his private jet, but usually I traveled ahead of him to set up rooms and make sure everything was perfect before he arrived. Did anyone travel with you when you went ahead? Occasionally, yes. Stylists, photographers. It depended on the trip. Who handled your travel arrangements? Mr. Combs' travel manager booked everything for me, showing us very corporate, right? Oh shoot, this is good. This is fresh squeezed orange juice mixed with vodka. Okay. What was the longest stretch you worked without sleep? During the New York album release, I stayed up for almost 3 days, took a few naps. My job was to arrive early and prep hotel rooms so that everything was seamless and he had everything he needed. I think they're like trying to imply forced labor, which is one of the charges under RICO. I don't really know. I don't really think they're doing a good job with the forced labor, proving up the forced labor claims, because there's been like implications and references here and there, but I don't, maybe it'll come together better in closing arguments, but I just think it's kind of all over the place. And it doesn't seem like there's been like a clear prove up of forced labor. You guys let me know your thoughts in the chat. Y'all think prove forced labor. Just, yeah, it's weird. Then it said, okay, so that was the longest stint. Now, because one of the way forced labor can be proven is if you are forced to take drugs, to stay up late, to work, but we're not hearing any testimony of any force. Is it encouraged? Sure. But every job wants you to work late, right? So I just don't see a lot of proof of the forced labor concrete, like clearly, I would say. How did you manage working such long hours with so little rest? I was so young, so I was able to handle it. How were you able to stay awake for that long? Did you use anything to that effect? I took prescription Addy, and rarely I used powder. I also smoked during my time working for him. Y'all, does that work for y'all? That don't work for me. Smoke make me sleepy. There ain't no type of smoke that makes me want to get up, and haul timber. No, none of it makes me want to do anything. Now, my ADD medication, that makes me want to get up and do stuff. First, it makes me want to hug people, though. It makes you very euphoric, generally. You're like, yay, I love the law. I love to study. Let's study for the bar, guys. Let's study for the bar. It makes you like happy to study. It's very strange. It says to fulfill, my job was to, why is my order keep getting rejected? Yo. Okay, I'm going to kill these people shortly. Okay, it says, what was your requirement? Your job? It was to fulfill every request exactly how he wanted it. He didn't take no for an answer. Did he ever describe how he viewed the team? He said, yeah, that we were like SEAL Team 6, elite, precise. Failure wasn't an option. Mr. Paul, were you ever fired during your time working for Mr. Combs? Yes, multiple times, actually. Multiple times, usually on impulse. I like this exchange. Can you give an example? One time it was over a Lululemon fanny pack, which I'd forgotten to bring along. He fired me on the spot. And what happened after that? Christina Karam pulled me aside and told me to just lay low. She said, keep a low profile and it'll blow over. Did it? Yeah. A few days later, I ran into him and he just said, just say hey, like nothing ever happened. Here we go. She says, did he ever bring it up again? Nope, never mentioned it again. If you had concerns or issues on the job, was there anyone in HR you could talk to? There wasn't really an HR process. If there was an issue, you rather went to Mr. Combs or to Miss Karam. Were you ever asked to purchase substances while working for him? Yeah, I was asked to buy thousands of dollars worth. What kind? Weed, powder, pink powder, X, and ketamine. Shows a photo to the jury. Mr. Paul, can you identify who this is? Or what this is? That's X and Tessie. You know, when I think of Tessie, I think of Badissi. Did y'all guys y'all use that term? Well, there's two kind of Tissies. My gay homies, hey, if you're in the chat, would talk about Busby. So that kind of sounds, and that sounds like Tissy, or like Tissy cat, I think they'd say. And then there is yeah, so they're talking about Tissy. So don't be lost, mermaid. What he's going over is he's talking about the different substances that under his job he was required to obtain. This is significant, y'all, because it goes to help prove up the claim of substance distribution. Remember, it's pink powder is yeah, they call it Tessie. When I think of yes, I think of the old school deodorant that didn't really work. Tessie, I feel like Tessie was like for middle schoolers because you'd be stinking if you like a grown woman try to wear it. But Tessie also makes me think of Badissi and just stinkiness, right? Your Badissi wasn't really. If you smelled Badissi, you're in the wrong place, boy. I tell you what, you need to get right up on out of there. Somebody needs to take a bath. Yes, I think of deodorant, they think it when they say Tissy, me too. Yes. Teray, Al talks about, he calls it Tissy cat. Tissy cat. Oh, freshman, it's called Tussie. I don't want it to be Tussie. I want Tessie because it rhymes with a lot of other words that are. But thank you for your help, freshman. All right, let's keep going. All right, Paul, can you identify what this is? That's X and Tessie. It's a powder mix. Whoa. Tessie is 2C. Correction. There is Tessie, 2C, Badusi. That's a separate thing. They're talking about literally, it's called 2C, which is a powder mix of ketamine and Molly. It says it was dyed pink for aesthetic purposes. How often did you purchase substances? Regularly. Combs like specific weed strains, King Louis and Sunset Sherbet. Did Mr. Combs ask you to personally use substances? Yes. He asked me to try some. And did you? I did. I wanted to prove my loyalty. Ooh. That's not good. That's not good. I wanted to prove my loyalty. What happened when you looked at it? And by that's not good, I'm not saying necessarily for any particular side that's not good. It does support the whole organized crime common goal of extracting the ultimate loyalty where people would do whatever. But I also think that legally it's very interesting that a sufficient common goal can be ultimate loyalty. But it makes sense because there's other what do they call it? There's like mafias and stuff like that where they absolutely require ultimate loyalty. What happened when you took the substance? I felt euphoric, but not the full effect. Did Mr. Combs ask you how it felt? All right. Let me put some more updates on this one. Man, that's a busy boy. Can you imagine? Like, I wonder at what point he realized he was the substance dealer. And let's go on over here. We're going to come on over to Inner City Press. He's saying, all right, so this is on Inner City Press. The update is, this is an instance where Brendan, the Mule, was instructed to set up a hotel room for a Wild King nights. And he was instructed that Jane was on her way. They asked, What the hell? Sorry. Guess my TV just decided to come on. Or I got a ghost. It says, where'd you make the reservation? Nobu. Where was this Wild King night? Jane's residence. I wrote running to Walmart for them. KK asked, Wild King mode active or Gucci bag active? What did you say? I said, between the two. How did you know what to buy for Mr. Combs's Wild King nights? We had a shared document in the Notes app. Interesting. I actually had that with my ex-boyfriend and his kid. I had that for grocery lists. And the rule was you had to put whatever you wanted, you had to put it on the list by like that whatever the night was, by Sunday night, by 9:00 before you go to bed. If it's not on the list, I don't have to get it. And that was great because people be like, you didn't get the such and such. Sure didn't. Wasn't on the list. Put it on the Notes app because Notes immediately updates in real time. It said we had a shared document in the Notes app. Who was responsible for the Astroglide? The property manager. What? I didn't think the 200 South Mapleton manager was good. So then there's a photo. Why would a property man? Why would the property manager? Oh, no. Maybe property is in stuff, or I don't know. Why would they be in charge of Astroglide? You got nothing else better for them to do? But maybe it was because, remember, he was buying them by the boatloads, by the caseloads. Perhaps it was because he would order so much and then they would be stored in the garage. That's where the feds found them. And now I realize the significance of the thousands of bottles of baby oil was to show how prevalent and widespread and non-personal were the freak-offs. Because you don't need 1,000 bottles of baby oil if it's just you and your girlfriend doing a do. Well, I guess was the implication. I don't know. Maybe you guys use a lot. It says, I took a photo of to show the manager how to lay out the Astroglide in her bathroom. How did you put in for the cash? Robin at TriStar. Did Mr. Combs contact you for Wild King nights? Yeah, by voice notes or FaceTime. Lawyered Up said, this is unbelievable. So the only lesson Diddy took from the Cassie lawsuit was to move the freak-offs from hotels to private residences. Did he get bad advice or did he just refuse to follow the good advice? That's always the question that I ask as a lawyer. Here we go. Brandon Paul, he says, oh, yeah. It said, did Mr. Combs contact you? Let me go back and check. Yeah. Oh, house man. Yeah, he might have been house manager or property manager. You're right. It said, how would he contact you about King nights? By voice notes or FaceTime. He called me to go get a sex outfit, but he never called me back. How did you clean up after? I wore gloves. Why? Sanitary reasons? Like, duh. Sanitary reasons. Is this a photo of the day you were arrested? Yes. March 25th. Rented jet. Oh, he said rented. He didn't own that one. I don't know why I don't know it. Wait a minute now. I know lawyers who own jets. Like Tony Busby has a jet. Maybe his jet was busy or elsewhere. Oh, no. I know why. Diddy, the same day that Brendan Paul was arrested, Diddy was on a different jet, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because Diddy was not with them. It said, you don't just bring the box. You have to arrange it. Damn, y'all. It's a lot of Astroglide. Shake that Astroglide. Look, guys, we're still doing pretty good with our Astroglide. Not that much has spilt out or been used. Shake that Astroglide. We're getting updated on the text. So right now we've got Brendan Paul on the stand. So far, what we've received from him is testimony about setting up freak-offs and substance distribution. His testimony is also supported kind of the structure and how the enterprise works, as far as he would take instruction from KK, the chief of staff, from Diddy, and would also coordinate and get reimbursed by security guard officer Fahim or others. He also referenced other substance dealers that he would obtain the substances for. And remember, for distribution, you don't have to sell it. It's giving it away or sharing it. with more than just like one friend, right? It's on a more substantive level. Here we go. So we got this picture. Government exhibit 18211. I know he had to feel away, boy. I know his mama and daddy were unhappy. It says, yeah, he was arrested on the rented jet. It said the substance you were arrested with, or the powder that you were arrested with, was it Mr. Combs? Objection. Sustained. Was it yours? No. Was it Mr. Combs? Objection. Overruled. Let people answer a question. Dog. He said it was Mr. Combs. Key. That's key. But here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. This is why the defense, for what they've got and so forth, they are doing a phenomenal job with asking, and they were getting their objections in and winning the objection. It's one thing to object, but they object and they win. They have kept out some substantial information doing so. Let's just to trigger your memory on some of the substantial things that were kept out. Baby, with Captain, I want to call her Captain Clark. She's not. With CC, Capricorn Clark, multiple times they tried to get into evidence the fact that she received a settlement from Diddy, but it was a very low settlement. They objected, and the judge did not let her talk to the jury about the settlement that she got from Diddy in 2012. I actually believe that that was directly relevant, and that while maybe at the initial time she discussed it, they could object to it. Subsequently, on cross, they were implying that she went back to work or began to ask Diddy to come to him because she liked him as a boss. I think they should have allowed her to tell how much money that was, to say, no, when I settled before, I got very little and it was gone. And I needed to go back to work, and that was the only job available. So it's critical to paint the picture of her level of financial desperation. They kept that out. They kept out the amount that he offered to settle with Brianna Bonglin, the girl that was dangled. He offered her a settlement. You don't do that under those circumstances if you knew that you never dangled the girl. And negotiated for over a month with old girl. No, he did that. Let's keep going. All right. What did you do after arrest? A diversion program. Substance treatment. No further questions. Damn! That was so quick. I wasn't even ready. I haven't even put on my deodorant yet this morning. I did. Oh my God, it smells so good. Were y'all ready for that? Okay, wait. Let me. If there's a mistrial or a hung jury, and the federal government will retry the case, does the immunity witnesses still have to testify at the new trial? It's still, the immunity isn't what makes them have to testify. The subpoena does. As long as they're testified again, yes, they'll have to. Great. You guys have an amazing question. I'm sorry, guys. Were you guys ready for that? It's over. Like, no. It's not the end of the trial. It's the end of the prosecution side. That was really quick. Yeah, there's cross, but I'm just processing. Just give me a second. I'm just. Yeah, the Lord told me that I should take my talents to Cancun. Maybe I'll find a husband here. There was a really nice guy in first class, black guy too. I love seeing black guys in first class. It was a really nice guy in first class on the plane. And my luggage, he saw me like with the luggage and he offered to put it up. And I was like, thanks. And he was like very friendly. And lo and behold, we're here for the same birthday trip. So I got in his car service and stuff. He's been very nice. Anyway, so somebody said, let him at, said that testimony is weak. Says, if it's a mistrial, I'll doubt they try this again. Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. The question is, are they going to lunch? Okay, let me see. Well, it's too early for lunch right now, but at some point there's, you know what? That's a great question. I don't know if they're going to lunch because trial is ending today at 1 p.m. Eastern. It says no one offered drugs to staff unless they're a drug enterprise. You know what? Excuse me, Miss Deanna. Order in the court. That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Because what job have you ever had where they offer you drugs? And again, it could be the enterprise doesn't have to start off being unlawful. It could be a totally lawful one that does unlawful things. And that's generally very often what happens. All right. They'll have more questions on redirect. The chat's all oiled up. Real question. Aren't all employees expected to have a common goal, satisfy the boss? I'm thinking about the indictment indicating this needing to be met. Let's take a look at it. How about this? I'm going to start this comment. We're going to take a look at it after I make sure I'm all caught up on our tweets. That's an excellent question, ma'am. Lord, no further questions. Judge Cross, you walked on to play basketball at Syracuse for an iconic coach. Yes, you played at UNC, but COVID ended it. Yes. Oh my gosh, y'all. That's really sad. That's really sad. Can you imagine walking on to an amazing iconic team like Syracuse, beginning to build out this dream basketball career, and COVID literally terminating your college? Because what could you do? You could be like, well, I'll say I'm not in school and wait till COVID comes back. COVID was taking people's eligibility years. That's kind of sad. You weren't a drug mule, were you? Objection, overruled. He says, I was not just that. It was a minor part of what you did. He said, absolutely. Personal use. Judge, rephrase. Ooh. Y'all, that's a good line of questioning. Go ahead, Brian Still. So here's what we got. Somebody said, well, maybe he sucked at basketball. Any future trial has to be for other charges. No, that's not true. Double jeopardy is only if they made a ruling. So remember, double jeopardy, I may be misunderstanding what you're saying, but double jeopardy only applies if you're found guilty or not guilty, but it doesn't apply to a mistrial. Just to clarify. It was like happy hour every day. He's the cool boss that sees employees as friends. Yeah, this is messed up. All right, let's keep going. This was him once upon. Look at that! Oh my gosh! I bet he likes black girls. You know what, ladies in the chat? If you know, you know. I think I like his black girls. I see you, Brendan. Too old for you, but I see you. You go ahead, Pookie. You look so handsome, Brendan. You look. Somebody send this to Brendan. If Brendan's your friend, you give him a little timestamp, whatever it is. I don't know what time it is. Tell him this older lady thinks you're just a handsome young man and you look very nice. And I'm sorry for saying that you look stinky. You did look stinky that day you got arrested, but you were a little frazzled. I mean, you've never been arrested before, locked up, but they let you out. And that's what matters. That was it. Okay, here we are. I love this line of questioning. He says, you weren't a drug mule, were you? And he says, I was not just that. It was a minor part of what you did. Absolutely. Personal use, judge, rephrase. Because see, you can't say something like personal use because that's in this context a legal term. A lay witness can't and should not ever be asked to define a legal term or legal issue. The hotel nights were personal, ? Objection, rephrase. It was Mr. Combs and Jane, relaxation, personal, right? From your observation? Yes. Did you see Jane as hesitant? I did not. Very good. Go ahead, Brian Still. Somebody said, is this a cigar humidifier? Oh, shoot, it is. Y'all didn't build the cigar humidifier with the baby oil. And put the oil up in it. That is exactly what. Oh, that is some classy-ish, y'all. That's a real classy people. This is a really good line of question. I think they're going to be done with him before lunch. They're going to get out of here early at this route. And then we're going to, oh, yeah, this is a good one. This is a goodie. I mean, they are just, I love it. Rapid fire. Keep it going. If you saw non-consensual activity, you would not have worked there, right? Objection. Sustained. You would not work for a criminal, would you? No. Oh my God, that's excellent. Excellent. Cross-examination. You would not work for a criminal, would you? No. You care about your reputation. Yes. Somebody said there's absolutely no one who could confirm victim this or that was hesitant, even if they genuinely were. That's true. The victims dated the boss. As such, they were obviously acting privately to employees, except a few like KK. Interesting. Yeah, Majesty wrote the cross. Oh my gosh. That was good. You wouldn't work for a criminal, would you? I mean, that's an example of when you ask a question where no matter what they answer, you're winning, right? Because if he was to be like, you wouldn't work for a criminal, would you? And if he says yes, you'd be like, oh, well, you can't be trusted. You over here committing, like you are trying to commit, like, get out of here, buckaroo. Now somewhere with that, sir. We are, here we go. Y'all, they wrapping it up, boy. It's something else. This is something else. Ooh, this is kind of raggedy. There we go. All right, let's get an update. All right, so I'm your legal bestie, attorney Simone. Here is where we are at. Y'all, this has been quick. This has been quick. So what's been going on? Let's shift this back a little bit. There's a lot going on here. There we go. So what's happened so far is the prosecution has completed their direct testimony with Brendan, the alleged substance mule. I'm gonna get his little picture up here so y'all can see Brendan. I mean, this poor guy. I don't know what. Oh, I don't know about this look today, y'all. This is what he got on. Oh no, Brandon, you shouldn't have did that now. Oh, y'all, I got to show this with you. Oh, they done aged our buddy Brendan over here. They didn't put this little boy through way too much. Oh, here it is. Oh, baby. So that's Brendan, the alleged substance mule. And Brendan's on the stand now. They've completed direct examination of him. And the gist of what we've obtained was, I'd say it was primarily evidence of substance distribution, of the RICO enterprise, how it worked, the fact that he get reimbursed for obtaining the substances. He get paid from Robin at TriStar, which is the business accountant that he would, oops, there we go. Yeah, he looks wild. Yeah, he's supposed to be like 25 years old or something. This is a young man. Yeah, he's like, I said Cassie was her star witness. But Brendan is supposed to seal the deal with this RICO. Do you guys feel in the chat that you have seen evidence supportive of RICO or not supportive of RICO based on his testimony? I want to see in the chat, what value do you feel like, if any, Brendan's testimony is providing? To the get up and leave people? That ninja that's laying on your couch right now, tell him to get up and leave. And somebody said a crackhead years, that's hella old. Does he think buying substances and using them is a crime? Does he think buying some? I don't know. Which he? If you mean Brendan, I guess that's the question. Yeah. Okay. I see some that it's supportive. Where are the wires paying this guy? Oh, Crystal, excellent question. So that was all covered. That actually was covered with what was called the summary witness earlier in the week. Kept falling asleep in Corey. I was in there. So what the summary witness did is just that. Crystal, excellent question. So the summary witness, there was a table that was created, and the prosecution had her on the stand, and they would put up exhibits, and the exhibits literally were text message exchanges and wires. And the exchanges were things like, excuse me, it would be Brendan, Diddy, KK, and Robin at TriStar. Remember, he testified. Robin at TriStar would reimburse him and stuff for the drugs. So there were chains where he would be saying, hey, I paid this much money for these substances. I need reimbursement. And then they'd have to wait for Diddy on the chain to say approved or whatever. And Diddy would say approved. And then Robin would give him the money. So, yeah. So that is, those were supported, and those are included in that summary testimony that we got the other day. And they did that way for a reason. And that's to keep it organized for the jury, because there were so many. So the chart will have exhibit number, who all was on, like exhibit number, type of communication, right? Was it a text, email, voice note? And then it would say who all was on that chain. And then it would give a summary of the significance of it, like reimbursement for substances, or a highlight of the important text message part. Yeah, Tamika, we rated with heavy anticipation for this. That's what I said too. All right, let's see. I mean, Brian still is doing good, but like, I want him to see, witness him, off somebody, cut somebody's knuckles off. We don't have any of that. He says, okay, it says you were arrested for 27 grams, barely personal use. It was a mistake, right? Yes. And the case was dismissed. Yes. Did substances make Sean more focused? He got extremely creative. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm trying to process this. You were arrested for 27 grams of coke. Y'all, that's a lot of powder. I don't really know how their grams are. You were arrested for 27 grams, barely personal use. I don't know what barely personal use means. It was a mistake, right? Yes. And the case was dismissed. Yes. Now, let's be clear. The case was not dismissed because it didn't happen, or it wasn't dismissed because it was so little. It got dismissed because he was a first-time offender, and they knew the freaking deal. They knew he was toting that stuff for Diddy. As you sit here today, are you indebted to Sean Combs? He said good experiences for the most part. No further questions. What? Baby, that was 47 seconds ago. Y'all. Okay, hold on, let me switch that over. Y'all, no further questions on this is a cross. Y'all, I'm about to go to the beach. I'm going to go to the beach. Yeah, we're about to get in this water in a minute, y'all, all together. Y'all want to come to the beach with me? It's right over here. I wonder if you could see it as we're waiting. I'm like kind of shocked. So they're having a sidebar at the moment. What in the holy hay? What in the holy hay? I wonder if I could show you. Hold on, let me play with my camera a little bit. I'm play with my camera, but I'm gonna. No, I guess I can't. Okay, there's a lot going on here at this desk. This is insane. Like, this is not a lot. Someone say, "Oh my God, this isn't safe at all." People settle all the time and are not guilty. Yeah, you don't understand the facts. You don't know what you're talking about here. That doesn't make any sense. Pooh. People like Diddy don't negotiate for an entire month and offer a settlement if they didn't dangle. You sound crazy. Girl, that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. Nope. He negotiated and had a team on it. No, they absolutely don't do it for something that never happened. If it never happened, you engage. And I'm saying they never do it. This was pre-litigation. They might do that after something gets filed with the courts. You don't do that pre-litigation. No, ma'am. I'm gonna have to use my legal experience and say I know that is true. People do settle all the time, but not on these facts. Absolutely not. when that happens, it's because the litigation cost. Here, Diddy was creating a litigation cost. There was no lawsuit filed. It was simply discussions with her, and it was a substantial amount that was offered. So no, you don't offer someone like $1 million or $500,000 for something that never happened at all. Can I look into Fat Joe? Yes, and I am. Okay, help me with this 28 grams. Thank you, because I'm not really good on my substances. Here we go. What is this? 28 grams. There are 28 grams in an ounce, 16 ounces in a pound. Okay. Do you have any idea how much that is when it's laid out in front of you? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not a drug user. Teach me. 28 grams in an ounce. Okay. So what you're saying, 28 grams in an ounce. So that's like 1/16. Because it's 1 ounce. 16 ounces in a pound. It's 1/16 of a pound. I'm not doing no more. I'm not doing no more math. That's why I went to law school. Rico's been proven, but these testimonies are late. Agreed. Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, is that what you're trying to tell me? It's a lot. A small amount. I think it was a small amount, honey. I don't know. Take her to the, please. I want to go. Can someone take me to Detroit? I want to go to Detroit, and I want to eat some barbecue there. I don't know why I want to eat barbecue in Detroit, but I don't even know that they're good for that. And I would want to dance to live music. I want to dance with strangers. I was meeting all kind of strangers yesterday. I'm surprised I didn't get kidnapped. Lawyer fees cost more than to settle. Okay. You got to know what you're talking about, honey. That's not true pre-litigation. There's none of that pre-litigation. We're talking about pre-litigation. We're not talking about a trial. We're not talking about someone's filed a lawsuit. The issue was people are saying it never happened. And I'm saying one of the ways in which I know that it did happen, I don't think her date was correct, but I know that it did. The dangling incident occurred was because he had multiple staff negotiating with her, going back and forth and talking numbers pre-litigation. You do not do that for an event that never, ever occurred. You guys, you do not, you're wrong, flat out. I'm not even going to pretend you're wrong. Because when you've seen something like that, there's an issue where there's a fact issue. Like one person is like, well, I didn't hurt you. I didn't. But if you're saying, that's like saying, like there may be a car accident, right? And two people might be saying, well, you hit me. No, you hit me. All right, fine. Then somebody may pay somebody to make it go away. But if you're saying you hit me in that car accident and you're like, no, I was in Mexico that day. You don't settle pre-litigation. You're like, I was in Mexico and here is the receipt. Hello, does that make sense to anybody? If it truly never happened, if it never happened and he was on stage somewhere else, there is no effing way he would have spent a month pre-litigation doing all of this. This is supposed to be the best. Yeah. He was supposed to be the best. I think let me see if they're still on the sidebar. It's aggravating me. I'm going to get this clip up. I need to play you guys this clip. I need to play this clip. All right, here we go. I'm going to set it back up. I do. All right, so here's a clip real quick. I'm going to play for you guys again. This is last year. My thoughts last year. Don't ask me why I look like a Oompa Loompa orange, but this was clips from me last year. My thoughts on Brendan Paul. This was May of 24. Diddy did not get arrested until September of 24. So this is prior to the arrest, prior to any of this. We are waiting on the sidebar. As we're waiting, I want you to hear this. I'm gonna be ordering some breakfast on this little thing. Here we go. Where did it go? Here we go. So I'm gonna play this clip for you. And I want to know your thoughts. So this is my prediction on Brendan Paul's potential significance in this case. And now we have heard his testimony. Let's talk about it. Here.
believe that the drug mule, is cooperating to give the feds any and everything that they need. And I also believe just by virtue of being a drug mule means you have seen some of the most illegal stuff possible, right? So let's think about this. And we also know that Diddy likes having dirt on people. So by Brendan being his mule, he probably feels like Brendan's not going to say nothing. He can't say anything because I have on him the fact that he's walking around and has toted all these drugs. Well, I feel like them finding drugs, them as in the feds finding drugs on Brendan at that airport, the Opa-locka airport, was the biggest gift to the feds. Here's why. The plea deal he took yesterday, it was a felony. He was a first-time offender. He had no priors. And the plea deal that Brendan received, he gets probation, no jail time whatsoever. It's going to be 6 months. He's got to take some type of drug class, and he's all done. So a friend of mine was like, I don't think he flipped. I said, why? He said, I don't think he flipped because it was such a low-level offense, he'd have no need to flip. That's what they want you to think. You're right. It was lower level, although it was a felony. Number one, you have to remember, you can always get charged harder. That happened at an airport. So he may have made that deal with the state prosecutors. The feds can still charge him. He could get charged with something for having drugs on an airplane, right? What I believe likely happened, and is more likely, is that the feds came to him and probably said, hey, you got this sweetheart deal over here by the state, but the states aren't the feds. We can charge you with much more, including we can charge you with a RICO offense. If you don't tell us everything you know, everything you've seen, names, numbers, dates, times. Because what he can negotiate with his lawyer is that in exchange for that, because of the fact that it was lower level, he would be the best kind of person to give a deal to. Because if you have to put somebody on the stand to rat out everybody else, you want somebody who's going to be more sympathetic to a jury. Who would be more sympathetic than this little white boy, first-time offender, who's been manipulated by this big black mogul? So I say that to say that Brendan is likely working with the feds, has worked with the feds, will continue to, because not only is it beneficial to him, because he can get complete immunity. And if I was his lawyer, we would only be speaking under the terms of complete immunity, and I will point them all out. I'm going to give you all these people. And also the fact that because he was the drug dealer, he's seen the slimiest of the slime, the worst of the worst. RICO's not held anyway in either of the Georgia cases.
Oh God, I do this every time. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Lord have mercy. Thank you. Let me pull this down. Yeah, I was ordering my breakfast. Sorry, guys. I didn't want y'all to hear all that because I had to fuss them out a little bit. Is this, I don't know, is this a second world country or first? Because sometimes it's stuff to be going on at these places where I'm like, this is just really ridiculous. But we are going to, yes, I am back. All right. I'm going to start all over. Let me tell you. Someone was like, is she showing us that she can be fooled by the media? I don't know, y'all. How was I fooled? Tell me. What did the media tell me? At the end of the day, it didn't look like I was wrong. All right. Right. It said, okay, he got a deal. But what did he ultimately give? Based on that testimony and those questions, Can they get enough from him? Then did they get enough from him? Oh, I think you mean like to make it be worthwhile of what he gave. And I would say, yeah. The reason why is because at the end of the day with the RICO enterprise, so many people are like, everyone should be charged with them. Are you crazy? Critically think. For people that say that, I'm like, I want you, there are lawyers, and I'm not, nobody's like dumb for saying that, right? Lawyers are saying that. Like, I watched this video of this lawyer who's supposed to be Drake's lawyer, and that man, I was like, first of all, sir, you clearly have not been following the case because your understanding of the facts are not accurate. But more so here and with others, it's like yes, they got more than enough from him. The reason I say they got more than enough from him is because he's not the he's not the ringleader. You have to think about who has the power and who's running this. Because if you don't stomp out the person that's running it, it's just going to continue with other employees. Look at all the different assistants that have come and gone. Brendan himself testified. First, there was 5 assistants, then 4, then it went down to 2. So you locking up all the assistants isn't going to prevent the growth of the enterprise. You have to get the leader of the enterprise. Why do people think, it says, can the government withhold charges for evidence that they found investigating this case and charge Diddy later for something new and different? So the question is, no, right? Anything that resulted from these occurrences and these actions, they need to charge, but it would need to be like, if they did not have sufficient proof of something where the statute of limitations has not expired, that would be okay. So for example, if there was a person that he was alleged to have assaulted during this time frame and the government saw some evidence of it, but it wasn't super strong, and then they could later charge him once someone else comes out or something stronger. But they're supposed to present to the grand jury all of the charges that they reasonably believe that they can prove. Hey, Diddy Docket. It says, do I think any of the 2D sealed documents are indictments for co-defendants? Good question. Well, the answer is going to be no, because it wouldn't be relevant to this case. And only relevant evidence, right, can be admitted. However, they have multiple times referred to co-conspirators. I love the Diddy Docket. And let me just double check. You know what? Diddy Docket, we finna hop up into it. I don't see, they're still on this sidebar. Let me see. Oh no, I think we just got something new. Okay, there, I'm back. I'll get into it. But what I will tell you is that I don't believe that any of the sealed indictments are the indictments of the co-defendants, but I do believe the co-defendants have been, they are still sealed indictments due to the fact that would also explain why they have not been called, specifically KK. As I processed it, I was like, wait a minute. You cannot call, like this, the government cannot call KK if she's a co-defendant. Why? Because every co-defendant has the right to plead the fifth. And if that co-defendant were to get on the stand, she would waive her right. So if KK gets on the stand in Diddy's trial and KK is a co-defendant, she waives the right to plead the fifth in her own trial. So the government would not be able to, like, for example, the government could not subpoena a co-defendant and have them take a stand. You can't. Well, they could, but she would just say, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth, I plead, and then that would look ridiculous. So the judge wouldn't allow that. In other words, it makes sense that she has not been called, and now she has not been called by the prosecution if she is in fact one of the sealed co-defendants, because you cannot do that. Think about it. If they were both sitting there as defendants in a trial, it would be the same as the two of them sitting there as defendants and the prosecution saying, well, I know we got 2 people here on trial, Diddy and KK. KK, we know you're a defendant. Okay, get up there, take the stand. We got to ask you some questions. KK will be like, what? You can't do that. You can't force anyone, even if it's as your witness, you can't force someone to be a witness who is a sealed co-defendant. Who would I call as my first witness for the defense? Not Vashta. They're supposed to be calling this woman named Dashta. Currently, they're calling a woman Vashta, who's like their HR. So she's part of the enterprise because she would retaliate. Oh, correction. The defense is calling them because they believe that she's helpful. Perhaps she's going to help show that some of these things that happened were simply personal use, personal things, not part of the enterprise. So I'm not exactly sure. All right. Why hasn't KK been arrested? Why would she be? Because she's a co-conspirator. Why would she be? I think they're saving her. Because here's the thing. The feds play chess, not checkers. The way the feds have structured it, she can't even get up there and testify to save Diddy. Because you know she would. She can't do that. She could. Legally, she could. But she then would subject her own self to charges. So the way they have basically neutralized KK. Since KK decided she don't want to cooperate with them, they said, cool, you're not finna help Diddy. That's what we're going to ensure. By making her a co-conspirator, the minute she hits that stand for Diddy, if she would, they're able to get her testimony and lock her in for all the crimes. For all the crimes. I don't think they're stupid. I just don't think they have to try hard for you. Just like any other job. Okay, gotcha. All right, let's go back to these tweets. Okay, so we got some updates. All right, it looks like we're going to wrap up today okay, since they're back. Did you know what was happening in the Wild King nights? Objection, rephrase. Were you there? No. What did you think the $5,000 was for? Objection, sustain. That objection was because it would have caused for speculation. Did you give Mr. Combs $5,000 cash in another context? No. As in, like, aside from a king night? No. You said you wouldn't work for a criminal, but you bought drugs for Mr. Combs. Yes. More than 5 times, but less than 10 times. Y'all, do you feel like that's more personal? Or that could be tied to enterprise? More than 5 times he did it, but less than 10. Now, of course, this is just one person, but still. He says, how do you feel about Mr. Combs? It's complicated. No further questions. No recross. There you go. You may go, Mr. Paul. Well, let's see if that wraps it up for the day. Ooh, don't call no more goddamn summary witnesses. The government may call us next witness. God damn it. First, some exhibits. Reading text between Combs and KK. 525. Combs. I can't take it no more. Album not done. You can have a release after the studio. Oh, this is April 25th of 23. It says you can have a release after the studio. We control our energy. She says, whatever. Give me Frank. Frank was what? I think Frank was one of the substance dealers. Frank was a butler. It's gonna be one more of the summary witnesses. Child in that courtroom, them summary witnesses be making me fall straight to sleep. I think it ties that no recross. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I think it ties that no recross. Explain. Oh yeah. No recross because there's nothing more to clarify. Let me go back to those tweets just so I can do it in context. So the thing of it is, when you do, so there's direct and then there's cross. If you recross, you're supposed to, if you redirect, you're supposed to focus on what was covered in cross. So if he was going to recross, he would need to focus on something, one of this quick little interchange about the 5,000 and working for a criminal. So they ended on how he said it's complicated. That's fine. She didn't need to give him the opportunity to expand in any way about how he deep down kind of loved Diddy or whatever the heck. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. All right. While this summary witness is doing this, all right, I'm going to go ahead and start on KK. I think it's going to be a quick day today. I don't understand the feds taking assets or money. Ooh, okay, absolutely. I'll explain. Let's make this adjustment. Assets and money only to auction off for next to nothing. What's the point? Punishment. So they want to cripple, and it's not just that. They use it to fund, like, I don't know, it could be, they use it to fund victims' funds. Money can also be held for victims. So if he's still got, God damn it. Sorry, guys, this my do not disturb needs to come on. If he's still got pending civil lawsuits and stuff, it all won't just, just go superfluously. But they have like different funds that they go to, but the sole thing is to punish you. Because think about it, with Bernie Madoff and stuff, those people were jumping off buildings because they couldn't survive poor. They were more upset at the seizure of their assets than the criminal time that they were getting. They could do the time if they could come back to the millions. And so I think a large part of it is you take away, you got to take away the money to cripple the organization as well. Because as we know, this is America. Money talks. Sorry, guys. Yeah, they're crooked and the victims probably would get a fraction. Yeah, somebody said, you know why? It's consequences. Yeah. Yeah, court is supposed to be over at 1 today. Yes. All right, so where the term drug mule comes from, if it's more than 5 but less than 10. Oh, great question. Oh, honey, you don't remember. This was from Lil Rod. Tyrone Blackburn. Bless his heart, he got sued. Okay, he filed a lawsuit against somebody that was alleged victim of that Joe. So I'll get into that later, maybe this weekend. But so Tyrone Blackburn represented Little Rod, who sued in civil court, sued Diddy. And he was the one that had the whole petition where he claimed that Gina and Daphne Joy were, quote, little sex workers, little S workers for Diddy. And that Carisha and others would get his pink powder. And he specifically referred to Brendan as the drug mule. And what was extra crazy is that petition was written, and that was filed in December of 23, December of 23 into January. And then after that was filed, like 2 or 3 months after, Brendan gets arrested for substances. Is there a way Diddy can protect his assets? No, for his children. I want to be clear. No. But here's the T. Here's the T on that. So the answer is legally, no, you cannot protect your assets from seizure from your kids because it's all based on how did you get the money, right? And every dime comes from some enterprise. Oh, yeah. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter if like, well, this was a legitimate enterprise, but this one wasn't. The way that they got it structured from the petition, all of them are considered bad guys. But the one saving grace is this. Now, I'm going to say it. Other creators are going to say it and they're going to act like they said it for the first time. Just feel free to just like go in their chat and be like, oh yeah, my legal bestie told me that. Which is his only saving grace to protect his funds is a pardon. But it has to be very specific. So here's how pardons work. Generally, pardons on the federal level can only be given by the president. This is a federal case. Man upstairs, the orange man, he has the ability to do it. I don't like saying his name on my videos because it pushes it into political talk, and this is not. He can do it if and only if, because generally pardons are just for criminal stuff. They do not cover civil penalties associated. And a civil penalty is like the seizure of his assets. unless the wording of the pardon specifically says it. So that means he could absolutely get his stuff back if the seizure and sale have not been completed at the time of the pardon, and the pardon has to specifically have language that says both pardoning for this activity and demanding the return of all of his stuff. That is what would make Diddy a whole happy camper. And that is now where Diddy is going to dedicate his assets to. So if he's convicted on any of these charges, he's now going to re-strategize to focus on appeal and to focus on a pardon, and a pardon specifically that's going to ask for the return of his, yes, it is a Hail Mary. Oh, so Brian, there was this sweet person in the chat from, I don't know where, they were from another country, and they were like, I'm a Catholic, and it really offends me when you call it a Hail Mary. I was like, I'm sorry, it's American football. I don't know what to tell you. Hail Mary. Real life Nino from New Jack City. What about the many assets currently in the name of Janice? Well, now, why would the name matter? Come on, guys. Name don't matter. It doesn't matter. They know that these are criminal organizations. They put stuff in other people's name all the time. Shoot, my auntie, she used to put all kind of light bills in my cousin's name. So the point is, it's about where the assets come from. And the more that you do stuff like that, the more likely you can get caught up in wire fraud and other charges like that. So that ain't gonna help them. One of the houses is supposed to be in the daughter's name. It don't matter. Don't nobody care. What about the many assets? They're putting immunity on them to make them testify. Yeah, they're not asking for it. That's true. To punish him, why would they let him go? How did the enterprise benefit? They don't have to benefit. Oh, how did the enterprise benefit from this freak off? Okay, sorry, I misread your question. It wasn't the enterprise that has to benefit. It's Diddy. So, and it doesn't have to be a benefit. So we gotta restructure our language to fit the law. It's common goal. Doesn't have to be a benefit. Common goal. And the common goal, one of which is his fulfilling his actual desires. Let me go ahead. I'll put that document right on back. Ooh, I got it. Here we go. Come on, we're going to do this together. We family. Let's take a look at it. These are, make a little adjustment. There we go. Somebody said, force them to work. It says, I think it's the income between, it would be 09 to present, or at one point well, here we go. This is the indictment here. Let's look at the time frame. Uh, 2004. Look here. It says the enterprise from 04 through 2024. Y'all, that's now. That's forever. That's all of it. That's all of it, y'all. Any monies from the last 20. All right. And then, but let's go to that little funky section. Purposes of the enterprise. Because remember, it just has to be a common goal. Purpose, common goal. That's the same. Was A, preserving a global business in the media, entertainment, etc. Preserving, protecting, and promoting, enhancing the power of Diddy, etc. Enriching members and associates of the enterprise. I'm gonna pull down this comment just so we can see a little bit more here. It says, and the one was, gosh, my vision is bad. It says, enabling members and associates of the enterprise, including its leader Combs, and in particular, those who demonstrated loyalty to him and willingness to conceal his crimes. These are purposes, it says. Purposes also include preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of Combs, fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, enabling Combs and other members and associates of the enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, and securing absolute loyalty. That's G there. Securing absolute loyalty from members and protecting the Combs enterprise and its members, associates, including Combs, from detection and prosecution by law enforcement. So really kind of the unusual or oddest ones I think here are what is that? E, fulfilling the personal desires of Combs is one of the common goals that they had, purposes that they have to satisfy under the law, providing proof of, as well as securing absolute loyalty and protecting the Combs enterprise. Boom. Right there in black and white. Oh, wait, Poppy. I got to see this. Possibly a mistrial. Jane's testimony changed my mind about his guilt. Can you tell us more in the chat? Y'all, I had serious concerns and issues with Jane's testimony. And I feel like what you're going to say is probably consistent with that. How did Jane change it up? Did Jane make you feel like he was or was not more guilty? Somebody said, so I can see my boss. The government doesn't take into consideration the legal jargon is not going to be new. I agree. Let me see. Well, someone was saying they don't take into consideration the wording, or that this is going to get lost with regular jurors. And I have to say, you're right. So what happens is that's where jury instructions are critical, because the jury instructions are supposed to break down and very clearly both put, this is what the law is, put that in words, and then put the facts below it so that they can evaluate the law based on the facts that were presented. Did the prosecution take into consideration? Yeah, the legal jargon is not going to be landing well with everyday people. I'm looking at the case through my everyday. That's what I said. That's why I said we got some problems here. I said, why y'all put Jane up there? That's not going to land with the everyday person. We also got some challenges, for example, with the kidnapping. I believe Capricorn Clark with the kidnapping. I also believe she was blackmailed. However, I can understand an everyday juror having difficulty seeing it necessarily as kidnapping, considering she came back to work on Monday. Yep. Javier Mellon said, wait a minute, protecting an enterprise is every employee's job. That's true. That is true. Wait. Did I think, okay. Did I like Brendan's testimony better than Jane's? Well, it depends on what the goal was. I think Jane's testimony really helped the defense. I think Brendan's testimony reinforced what was established by the prosecution. Here's one of the issues with Jane's is that he's not going to get a day more if he's found guilty of whatever Jane claimed. He would not get a day more for that than whatever he gets for Cassie. Because there's no version of people, and I think we can all agree here, which sometimes is rare in life. There is no version of a jury that would find him guilty of what happened with Jane, of that being S trafficking, and finding him not guilty of what happened to Cassie. You see what I'm saying there? I think we can agree on that. Cassie's facts were far stronger. Yeah, hit that like button and hit that subscribe too. Cassie's facts were much stronger. So if he's going to be found guilty of any of the two, it would be Cassie's. So I say that to say Jane isn't helping. I mean, I feel like Jane's testimony was just talking more about her freak offs and her particular situation. But I don't think that she necessarily helped prove up anything in support of the other claims that were there. You don't need to speak with the prosecutor 27 times to tell the truth. No, that's not how. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. 27 times to tell the truth. Maybe to get your story together. No, that's kind of like not how it works. So by speaking, it's not all in person. There can be phone calls. I speak to my clients 27 times before we get ready for trial. Because it means phone calls. There's going to be times where it's a clarification. There's a lot of evidence that was submitted. And the evidence goes to the investigators. The investigators kind of organize it. Then it goes to this paralegal level. Then it goes to the lawyer level. So I think the defense did a great job. This is in reference to Mia. Mia testified that she spoke with prosecutors approximately 27 times prior to this and spoke to the defense, not any. It's normal that people don't hit that subscribe, guys, as you come in. It's normal that witnesses don't talk to the, what you call it? That the witnesses don't talk to the defense. Because if you're a prosecution witness, you're generally like scared of the other side or what have you. Hold on. I need more mimosa. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I've been having a really hard life. And for real life, I've been having a hard life. And I'm on vacation, so while I'm working. But so with me, so what I wanted to just clarify is that's actually not an unusual number because it's not, if it was one-on-one in-person meetings, that's weird, right? But it's phone calls, it's looking through evidence, it's looking through documents, like what was the exchange? What was the backstory here? Because what happens is there's no way, like you don't sit down and be like, okay, tell me your whole life story. They have specific questions that they ask you about in each instance. And it's also, remember, it's a rolling basis. Because they're going to get more evidence. They're going to get text messages from other people. And then they're going to send you a message that's like, wait, I saw this text message from someone else. Tell me what this is talking about. Were you around in this time period? Did you know about this? So that's why it's 27. But I agree with you. It looks crazy. I think ultimately your point is like, that sounds crazy. And it does sound crazy. But y'all, guess how many times KK likely met with the prosecution? Let's talk about it. Put my little banner up. We can talk about Miss Thing. I'm gonna get it on the screen first. Okay, we're gonna talk about her. Like, that lady's got to be in hiding. She's gotta be. Is it? Oh, that's not what she don't want that outfit showing. All right, here we are. I mean, who could she work for besides Diddy? Nobody. Here we go. Before we do that, I just want to make sure we're all caught up. This was just, hold on the tweets. God, I think it's going to be more of the freaking boredom. All right, here we go. Oh, yep. Wait. We got to go back to these tweets. Hold on. We got an update. Oh, I got some super chats. Hold on. Okay. Thank you, Terry. It says, by next Friday, leave the phone in the car, or do we turn the phone in at courthouse? And Diddy is going to jail. We know he's a monster. Wendy Ben told us. By next Friday, I'll leave my phone in the car, or do we turn the phone in at the courthouse? I turn it in at the courthouse, and Diddy's going to jail. I'm definitely going to be. Here's what I don't want. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think when we're doing verdict watch, I think I want to watch it with you guys. I don't think I want to do it at the court. I want to watch it with you guys, and then I might like go down to the courthouse because I'm still in New York. I'm there for the month, but I think I want to like literally like watch it and everything with you guys because I really want to talk about. Oh, thank you, Bree. I'm so sorry that I missed this. Thank you for the super chat. It says, if all these messages were in WhatsApp, would they still have a case? Being that they advertise, no one can read the messages. Not even the WhatsApp organization. Just asking. Great question. Bree's talking about, all these text exchanges. Great question. I don't know. All the drug dealers I know use WhatsApp. That's how we communicated prior to the statute of limitations, or when the statute of limitations was expired. Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm thinking about all the cases that I've done where we've done phone extractions. I've never seen WhatsApp extractions. Someone had to Google that. Seen any trials that had WhatsApp extractions? Y'all, I'll be mixing my Sprite and my OJ. Don't ask me why. I'm ghetto. I told y'all. I love y'all. Y'all got some really great questions. All right. We also got Brittany. Hey, Brittany. Can the government we talked about that one. Can the government withhold charges that they stuff they found investigating this case and charge Diddy later. Yep, and it's all about the statute limitations. Ogo Parker, please explain the boss's request of loyalty. Thank you. A boss's request of loyalty cannot be illegal. So the answer is this. Loyalty is one thing, but loyalty, even through crimes, would be the problem. So a boss can say, for example, look, I don't care. Let's even say it's a record label. Look, you work for Bad Boy. You better not be running around with those people at Republic Records or, excuse me. Ooh, that water looks gorgeous. Like, you work for Bad Boy. You cannot be running around with none of the artists at our competitors. You cannot be, I don't want to see you on social media with them. I don't want to see you at their concerts. None of that. That's like an example of loyalty. You could do that. But what you can't do is say, look, whatever you see goes down here. If you see a crime occur, don't you tell the police. Don't you do any of that. The issue is the level of loyalty through crimes is the part that could make it illegal, or that does make it illegal. Thank you for asking. All right, Terry, thank you for the super chat. Okay, we talked about this one. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. All right. The updated tweets. It says, the government may call its next witness. First, there's some exhibits. Combs saying, I can't take it no more. The album's not done. And mind you, this was in April of 23. Oh. Huh. This was in April of 23. In June of 23 was when he was at the BET Awards and shouted out Cassie, June or July. So I guess he was trying to get that album done for that. I don't nobody remember that album. Don't nobody care. I don't think he realizes like he's not that great of an entertainer. He's more, we like his artists, but like I don't think anybody's been like, man, I gotta go to a Diddy concert. Unless it was like the Bad Boy reunion. It says, play the audio message by Mr. Combs. Combs' voice. Have Jonathan do it. Miss Karam replies, John will go to hotel. We have a bit more. Then we request a break. Okay, a message is shown on the screen involving Veronica Bangs and then taken down. AUSA, reading. Miss Ventura says, you bash my head in. Combs says, you're crazy. Stop talking. Flipping on me for what? We're taking a break? Question mark. I don't want to be beaten down for standing up or ever. I try to figure out how to get this nut out. What? Ew. You try to figure out how to get your nut out by whooping up on her? What? Still reading. No witnesses on the stand. Miss Ventura says, all I wanted was to have a good time, and you took all your anger out on me, per usual. You dragged me down the hall by my hair. This is not play fighting anymore. I was serious about Rita coming over. Oh, who is Rita? So this is not play fighting anymore. Boris had to tackle you, Puff. That's not love. That's possession. I have bleeding cuts. I'm not going to let someone shit SHIT on me when all I've done is be nice. You don't treat me like the king. You was acting like a bee. So he's still trying to justify that beat down. This y'all's king. This y'all's king. Huh? This y'all's homeboy. Hit that subscribe, guys. He is literally, I'm going to reread that because maybe I misunderstood. Combs responds when she's like, this is after bleeding and dragging her down the hotel hall. He responds, he said, I'm not going to let someone SHIT on me when all I've done is be nice. You don't treat me like the king. You was acting like a bee. What? Cassie says, talk to your people and they'll tell you. Or they won't. Since all they do is suck your D. I asked to have my record come out after 1,000,000 years, comes as Gary goes. I would like to read other portions of those exhibits, right? And that's been their strategy, guys. Side note, that's been their strategy when the government's witness is like putting into the record verbally certain chats. The purpose of this is to put it in the minds of the jurors. And then when the jurors get the transcripts and when they go back there, they can say, oh, wait, there was a text message about this kind of exchange. And they can ask for those components and be able to quickly find that evidence. What the defense has simply been trying to do is whenever the damning stuff comes out, they'll present expansions or other messages where Kathy's saying something loving or about how much she loves or adores him. It doesn't change the fact that in that moment, her concern was whatever that concern was. All right, AUSA for Miss Ventura, Mr. Combs. Yeah. She said, oh, I want to read other portions of it. May I confer with Miss Garagos? Of course. We need a break. 2 minutes ago, of course, they're on a break. Chop, chop. All right, up. Here we are. Imagine your personal assistant suing you for doing things that benefited you. Literally their job description. Ooh, Kiba, what kind of things are you talking about, huh? Why help the government when it's a clear reach on all charges? How many people are organizing their boss's actual encounters? When was this a normal part of employment? The amount of people laughing and making jokes about this are making the abnormal normal. Ooh, great point. Yeah, you know what? Peppy says, I'm sure the IRS flagged Diddy. Paper trail. I'm shocked there wasn't any form of a wire fraud. Oh. I think I know why, though. Hold up. Ooh, I'm so smart. Because of TriStar. That's the one. This almost could be like a little ghetto commercial for TriStar if they want to recruit more drug dealers. Here's why. TriStar is the accounting company that Diddy used. They would be on, one of its workers would be on text exchanges or text chains when he would be approving the purchase of substances and all kind of stuff. Yeah. I think the reason, more specifically, sorry. Stand thing. Sorry, guys. It's driving me crazy. I'm in a hotel, so I'm like having to adjust stuff. This is weird. But I was going to say, yeah, I think the reason he didn't get wire fraud is he has great accountants. His accountants were paying the taxes. Wire fraud generally comes from a form of some type of tax evasion, generally. Excuse me. Or financial crimes. He pays his taxes. He's got all that stuff lined up. So that was a huge saving grace. Well, when jurors get the instructions, ooh, thanks, T Princess. It says the government proves so much through Brendan Paul. Yeah, the drug distribution, clear as day, helping with the King Knights. It's over for Diddy. Where's the star witness? Where is the minor? Listen. Well, we knew there weren't going to be minors from the indictment. And hold on. Un momento. Sorry, my room service. Un momento. Good morning. Great. Okay, they're doing that. Yes, come on in. Gracias. And you can take that para llevar. Yeah, thank you. It said they should be televised. So, are we also? I feel like we're all wondering, where are the minors? Where are the minors? Where was the testimony of the laced drinks or of the baby oil with substances that would get in your skin and make you do things you weren't planning to do? You know, all those little sexy parties that he had. And nobody, excuse me, nobody was, I look like an albino. Sorry. Nobody was testifying to any of that. So I think for a lot of people, hold on a second. For a lot of people, it was like, hold on, this is not what they were expecting at all. And that's why they feel like this was overcharged. This was trumped up. This was not at all what it was like made up to be. And a large part of that, y'all, comes from Tony Busby. Remember, Tony Busby was the Houston lawyer who sat up there. Yes, that's everything. Excellent. We're just gonna say. Okay. Oh, can I have that ketchup? I like. Oh, is there ketchup right there? Oh, perfect. Great. You're good. Thank you. Yes, that's it. Thank you. You too. Good day. Sorry guys, I had to do a vacation because I was losing my mind. For Juneteenth, I'm celebrating Juneteenth, but I think it was Tony Busby that came out and he said he got over 3,000 calls and that he was taking like 125 clients. Actually, I'm gonna play the video for you. What he was saying, what Tony Busby said, that really was what made people think there was kids. Tony, oh yes, Busby, ooh. Busby was the first person to start saying that children were involved. And that's what everybody was saying. Where are the kids at? Where are the kids? Oh, hold on. I have a reel about that. Hold on. I'm gonna play that one for y'all. Because people keep commenting on it. And I'm like, where is it? Here we are. Yeah, I'm gonna play that one for y'all. Because I was like, where? I said, what? Oh, here it is. There you go. So I can put this one up. Yeah, we're gonna go. Remember, this is what made people believe that there were children involved, and there was so much more to the allegations that there was drugging of people without their consent and da da da, and we didn't see none of it. Now I'm gonna play this clip. Hang on. Where did it just go?
And here's a breakdown from today's press conference regarding Diddy and the 120 new victims. The Busby law firm has said that they will represent people for no upfront cost who were victims of Diddy. In response, they received calls from 3,000 victims. Of those 3,000 victims, they are representing 120. Of those, half are men, half are women. 62% are African American, 37% are white, and the remainders are Asian or Latino. 55 of those victims reportedly either filed police reports or they went to the hospital and received hospital reports. Of those 120, approximately 25 are minors. The youngest victim is 9 years old. His parents met with Diddy because Diddy was offering to give him a music contract, and then he abused the boy. There was also a 14-year-old boy where Diddy offered to give him a music deal as well and said that he needed to speak to him privately in another room, and that in that room, he asked the boy for fellatio. I'm attorney Simone, your legal bestie, and here's a breakdown from today's press conference regarding Diddy and the 120 new victims. The Busby law firm has said that they will represent people for no upfront cost who were victims of Diddy. In response, they received calls from 3,000 victims. Of those 3,000 victims, they are representing 120. Of those, half are men, half are women. 62% are African American, 37% are white, and the remainders are Asian or Latino. 55 of those victims reportedly either filed police reports or they went to the hospital and received hospital reports. Of those 120, approximately 25 are minors. The youngest victim is 9 years old. His parents met with Diddy because Diddy was offering to give him a music contract, and then he abused the boy.
I think that man was lying. I think he was lying, y'all. Let me clarify. Sorry, I had to eat some. I was supposed to have breakfast a long time ago. So remember, this is part of why everybody is like, there's no case here, guys. It's because prior to any this, let me see, what was the date on this? What was the date?
I'm attorney Simone, your legal bestie, and here's a breakdown from.
What was the date on this? Okay, October. Yeah, this was right after his arrest. But here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you right now. Maybe he wasn't lying. Maybe his victims, the alleged victims, were lying to him. Somebody said, wait. Coco Melon said he was lying. Simone, a lot of these lawsuits against Diddy are being thrown out and so forth. Here's the thing. I really feel like I wouldn't be surprised if there are other adult victims out, but this kid stuff, Trust me, the government, I hate when people say trust me, because it's like, why do you have to preface that? There's no way that the government would have, if there were children involved, that would have been at the forefront. That would have been the forefront of these charges, of the allegations. There's no evidence of any of the children. That was some trumped up stuff that old boy came up with. And I think that part of the narrative is going to be that Diddy is going to use those types of things to say, everyone is just trying to pile on him, when that's just not the case. It says so many people here don't understand the law and the evidence and how it all connects. It's really frustrating, but now I don't waste my time trying to explain it. Thanks for explaining. Hey, Barb. Lawyers taking these cases are really unbelievable. Civil suits are why you can't trust all lawyers' legal analysis. No problem. I understand. But yeah, I'm going to tell you, number one, I'm calling BS on all that. There was, the drugging of kids and because that's where the feds would have started. That is what got R. Kelly in trouble for the exact same thing. He was charged with the same thing, racketeering conspiracy. And the only difference is his had charges that included minors. This one does not. There's no way that the government would have allowed minor victims to just go undiscussed, because that would be even stronger charge. They like to stack as many charges on top as they could. So I'm going to confidently say I don't think those things were true. Thank you. Thank you, Mermaid. The feds would have brought this forward if it were true. They love a good stack of evidence. Spoken like a true lawyer. You're right. Diddy did not get the full charges. That's true. Now, I can believe that. But what I'm going to say is you at least add the easiest things to prove. That's why they added that prostitution charge. That was super easy. It's way easier to get a conviction for any harms to kids than it is for trafficking two big old grown women. Two grown adult girlfriends at that. It's going to be much, much more difficult to get a conviction on trafficking a girlfriend. We can all agree, versus a stranger or anything like that. And excuse me, especially the fact that it says literally in the case, it was proven people were lying on him. Did Paul testify? Paul came and went, honey, like a thief in the night. Paul is done. Now they're on a little break. Let's see. Are they back? They are back. Oh, here's what they want to talk about. Hold on. A little sidebar dispute going on here. Let's see it. All right, with the jury out, Garagos says, we want to read in the next page, Miss Ventura saying, I love our free costs when we want them. The judge, they're in evidence, but for some reason we are just reading these to the jury. There was no objection by the defense. Garagos, this leaves a prejudicial impression with the jury. What's your basis for what you want to do? We didn't know they were only going to read portions. You just want to read these 4 messages? Yes. I think it's fair for the defense to read the 4 messages. AUSA, I didn't intend to be misleading. So if your court is saying these 4 should be read, I should be the one to read them. Fine. Now we'll break. This is dumb. So they're doing what I said, which is like the little summary witness would, whenever it was something on the favorable to the prosecution, then the defense would just try to submit something where it was showing that Cassie was something that implies that it was consensual by Cassie. Yeah. We get it. We get it. They're on break. Keep in mind, guys, the defense does not have to call a single witness. They don't. Most cases, there's many cases that rest on the prosecution's testimony. Whatever the prosecution says, I mean, at the end of the, not testimony, but the prosecution's presentation, they don't call a single witness. And instead, all they do is like cross-examine and then discredit the witnesses that were called. I say that to say that's what it looks like due to the fact that it's the prosecution that has the burden of proof. So then therefore, The defense doesn't have to present anything, but what they are going to present is at least one expert to contrast Dr. Don Hughes' testimony. Again, I think that's going to go more towards the trafficking. But what I really have not seen them do is find any way or making even an attempt to discredit the bribery or tampering with the witness or even the prostitution. A lot of people are like, well, the prostitutes, they were consensual. It don't matter. That's like saying someone who purchased drugs from a drug dealer is consensual. They sure are. But it doesn't make it any more legal. It don't make it any more legal. Not in this case where okay. I heard a lawyer say Diddy has spent at least $10 million on his defense. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, because I would say it was at least $1 million a month. How one stopped testifying about how, okay. Yeah, I would think at least $1 million a month because he's got 10 lawyers on that legal team. Each of those lawyers, retainer, is going to be at least $100,000. Some much more. Each at least. Unless the feds are also protecting the billion-dollar trafficking industry. Since corrupt as well, Ali Carter, Tania, Jaguar Wright, and Andrea English all saw the minor Simone. Where's Ali Carter? I'm not familiar with her. But I know that I don't know of any lawyer that would call Andrea English to the stand. Her own lawyers don't work with her anymore. I'm not familiar with Tania. And why do you think fact mission, why do you think the feds didn't call Jaguar Wright? Oh, you got a question. Oh, are they lying? Are those people, unless the feds are also protecting the billion-dollar trafficking industry that's corrupt, these people, Andrea English and that. I don't find some of those people listed there credible at all. I wouldn't call them to the stand. Must it on there be hope? If you know, you know. I'll just say that. There's no proof that these folks were coming out a whole bunch of crazy stories. That might have been. All right, we're on the break. So we are going to talk KK. I want your KK questions. Put your KK questions in the chat. Put your KK questions in the chat. I'm going to do my best to answer them as we talk about real reasons she's not testifying. Y'all ready? Check that ass slide. All right, if you're ready, get a little beverage. We need to get to this. Check that astro glide. That's right. Gotta check him. All right. We gotta talk about this. This case feels like Rico with an asterisk. I totally understand. It's weird. It is not. This case is definitely not what anyone expected in the beginning. Let's just go there. I'm your legal bestie, attorney Simone. I break down celebrity cases on social media and my YouTube channel. Girl, is that legal? Here on YouTube. And I am so overwhelmed / excited, legally excited because of the intellect / perplexed by this whole Diddy case. And it was so much different than what we initially expected, right? I expected to see like stories about kids and drugs, substances, and baby oil laced with GHB, or I don't know what you put up in there. I don't do those kind of drugs. And if I did do drugs, I'd be doing cheap drugs. That stuff sounds expensive. I mean, not like crack, but definitely like some nice forms of weed. Anyway, KK. The challenge with KK, when I thought about it the other day, so many people are like, number one question I keep getting is, why did they not subpoena KK? They certainly could have. They could have. But you got to remember, just because you subpoena someone doesn't mean you actually want them to take the stand. You don't ever want someone to take the stand that you don't feel is going to be helpful to your case. And then one thing I thought about KK is that somebody said more oil, is that with KK, well, we got to think about the fundamental golden rule. You never ask a witness a question that you don't know the answer to. So to that end, in part, I don't believe that the feds know what KK's answers are going to be, because KK has never sat down with him. I do not believe that KK has ever sat down with him. I'm going to explain to you why. KK has the same lawyer as Diddy. That was confirmed in a letter to the court June 9th. KK was represented by Tenny Garagos. So is Diddy. We can all agree Diddy has never sat down with the feds, and his lawyer would never let him sit down. And like, if you watch episodes of the first 48, right? Diddy has never sat down with the feds and told him anything, because why? They can only be used against you. Even if there's what they call a proffer, which is where you get to give some evidence, okay? Stay with me. Same with KK. I don't believe, now I don't have 100% proof of this, but I don't believe KK sat down with Diddy, with the feds and told, and nor would most attorneys advise that. They would not advise that. Because what happens is this: when you do what's called a proffer comes before immunity. You go to the Fed's office, and in that instance, they said, tell us everything you know, and we won't use it against you. But there's like a little asterisk next to that, because the law actually says, we won't use what you tell us in there against you. We won't use that information. But if we are able to confirm what you say through independent sources, so then they can use that information. So if you tell us that there was like a substance deal with you, Diddy, and Brendan Paul, and then they go to Brendan Paul and be like, hey, Brendan, did you ever do a substance deal with KK? Diddy? And he's like, oh, yeah, let me tell you all about it. They're able to use that. So I say that to say, when you're facing big charges, which potentially KK is, you're not going to sit down with them, because you're not about to sit down with them and you have not interviewed with them. They don't know what you're going to say, and therefore they're less likely to call you. They're probably not going to call you. You really want to put KK on that stand, this woman who is so loyal to Diddy, who Diddy pays for her lawyer probably to this day. You really think she's going to tell you, get on that stand where you don't know what her interests are before and say anything? One of the viewers in the chat earlier today talked about Mia, how Mia testified that she met with the feds 27 prior times. Perfect example. She met with them, and that's what the feds do when they are building their case. They meet, and by meeting, it's talking on the phone or it's in person. They do that. Yeah, KK knows something about Diddy that no one knows, and I bet she has her own blackmailing. Ooh, could be. But as a result, number one, the feds are not going to call her as in the case in chief because of the fact they don't know what she's going to say. Now, could they call her for a rebuttal witness? So a rebuttal witness is when Diddy, they get, the prosecution is about to rest today. And then Diddy's side gets to present their defense. Diddy could call her. I don't believe that he will, because she is a co-conspirator. And if she is one of those people with the sealed indictment, which I do believe, if she takes the stand on Diddy, she takes away her right to plead the fifth in her own trial. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Do you hear how serious that would be? That would mean if she takes the stand in Diddy's case and testifies, she waives her own right to plead the fifth in her own case. Ain't no lawyer finna do that. No. But that's only if she's a co-conspirator defendant. Then that's what I want, let me know if this makes sense, if you're following. In addition, if she's considered a sealed co-conspirator, so in court, the prosecutors have affirmatively said she is a co-conspirator. I was sitting in the courtroom, and there were some arguments about documents getting in, and the prosecution specifically told the judge the basis that they believe it was admissible is that even though KK won't be testifying, won't be coming to court. Oh, and by the way, they're saying this from their understanding also that the defense was not going to call her. she was saying it should still be allowed in based on co-conspirator theory because she was a co-conspirator. So again, as a result, she has been listed as a co-conspirator. So as someone who's probably on the sealed defendant number 2, because Diddy is sealed defendant 1, so she could be sealed defendant 2 or 3, we don't know. Either way, the prosecution can't force her to testify. Or if they do, if they call her, she's just going to get up there and plead the fifth, which won't help the prosecution at all. So in summary, number 1, as a co-conspirator, she's likely one of these sealed defendants. You can't force someone who is a sealed defendant to testify in another defendant's case, because then that would waive their own rights to plead the fifth in their case. In other words, they've already testified. They're going to do that. And their testimony can be used against them. And then secondly, they have never met with KK. They met with all the other witnesses here. They have never sat down with KK. They don't know what she's going to say. And they probably feel like whatever she would say on that stand is going to be not helpful to our case. So why risk it? Why risk it? Okay, let me see these. Oh, and thirdly, shake your astroglide. We in class right now, real quick, before we wrap up. We're in class right now. Remember, guys, she's got civil suits. She's got 3 civil suits pending. One of which is related to, like, in civil court, allegations of trafficking and stuff. If she testifies in the criminal case, every single word she says can be used against her in the civil. They're going to tag that butt for some money. She's being sued by one person for millions related to setting up free calls and stuff. But that's what her testimony is going to have to be. We all know she did that. So as a result, every word she says is going to cause her to be millions, potentially, to civil victims. Yes, she's in the Little Rock case. There's 3 of them. So that's how it works. That's how come a lot of times people will file a civil suit, and then when the criminal charges come, they lay back, wait for the criminal case to be resolved. And then once the criminal case is resolved, if there's any testimony pertaining, all that testimony can be used by the civil case. So it makes it a lot easier to prove up that civil case. It says, how much help will she get? Diddy is not going to pay her lawyer bill. I think he's currently paying it. Yeah, he's paying it right now. She will be destroyed in court. Hope she stacked her. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I hear you. I hope she stacked her coins. I think she's probably terrified and doesn't know what to do. Where's she going to go work right now? Like, she can't really do too much. Cassie cooperated with the feds because they ultimately want Diddy to go down. KK really loves the money. At this point, she's so wrapped up in it. She's so wrapped up in it. So then the part of the question was like, okay, well, why did they not try her simultaneously with Diddy? And there's a number of reasons that could be true. There's a number of reasons why they may not have wanted to do that. And it includes the way they have it structured now. They have tied her up. She cannot testify and help Diddy because you know she would. You know she would. She can't testify for Diddy without screwing her damn self. Because number one, each side at this point has had to provide their witness list. And I found out like a week or 2 ago, KK wasn't testifying from an insider on the defense. I'm just saying. And it said, somebody said, I love how calm you are giving legal analysis. Thanks. But if she got up there, whatever she would say, obviously would be there to help Diddy, and it would be used against her. And not only that, then they would take her testimony. They can get it for perjury. They can get it for all kinds of additional things if she got up there lying. Got up there lying. It's definitely a double-edged sword. So in the end, she's in a bind, baby. Joe, I'm in a bind. I'm in a bind. KK's in a bind. And KK may go to jail based on her loyalty. And I don't think anybody will feel sorry for Miss Thing. So I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. This is the wrap-up analysis of KK, why she's likely not testifying. She could, again, come in as a rebuttal witness. But if she does that, all of her testimony can be used against her in civil cases where she's being sued for millions. And all of that testimony could be used in a criminal case against her, as well as it would waive her right to plead the fifth, because she done got up there, opened her mouth, and opened up the issue. I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. I break down cases on social media and YouTube on my YouTube channel called Girl, Is That Legal? Now, let's get on back. To the testimony wrapping up the prosecution's case. So here's what we got. They are back from break, I believe. Okay, great. Let's see. I need to go to the pool. There's so much work to do. Oh, here we are. I see the problem. Share. All right, AUSA says, all right, let me read this again. I had read the wrong version. Miss Ventura says to Combs, you want to party and have a good time? I have to focus, or I'm never becoming anything. You treat me like a hooker for 10 years. I love our freak offs when we both want it. So first of all, apparently I'm not the only one who loves the word hooker, especially in reference to men. They never get to be called that. But yeah, I would agree. Have y'all noticed that with Diddy, he treats his Asian girlfriends like hookers? Cassie, Gina. I don't know how he treats Baby Loves Mama. Hookers. He treats them all that way. Now, he might do that. I don't know. He might have done that with Young Miami, but I think she really liked it. So I don't know if it counts. All right. Oh, we got a new one, guys. Here's the final witness. Trigger bow. Wow. Shake the Astroglide. It is almost done. Government calls Joseph Cercello of Homeland Security Investigation, 18 years. How many records have you reviewed for the charts in this trial? 1,000. Oh, Jesus. What is the only female name in the chart? Jane. Oh, God, is that spilling? Hold on. It's very annoying. I don't know how much more. Let me check out something right now. We're going to see what this man's talking about. But I'm not finna sit up here. I'm not finna sit up here and be doing charts all day. That's not the way my ADD is set up. Especially I'm at an all-inclusive resort. Come on, you see that? There you go. There go the beach. Maybe I should turn it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. This is pissed me off. We're going to put it this way. Give me a moment, guys. Come back. Sorry, guys. There's a little technical difficulty there. Uh-oh. Idea. I'm back. Wait. Sorry, my ADD is just really aggravating me. Come on, guys. Come on. We're ready. Oh. Come on. I want to share the view with you guys. We all deserve to be on the beach together. There's a lot going on here. We all deserve to be on the beach together, okay, guys? We're on vacation. Ow! My foot. Okay. Isn't that better? I don't know what happened to the damn screen. What happened? Here we go. Okay, we're ready. See, guys? Don't underestimate me. Look, you see the water? Oh. All right, now hit that super chat, though. Ooh, here we go. Oh, shoot. Yeah, because this is expensive to be here. All right, we're going to wrap it up. let's see what we've got going for the day.
We've got Joseph on the stand.
And Joseph. Thank you. Am I single? Depends on who's asking. Hold on.
I'm actually being stalked by someone on the internet.
Maybe in my members only live, I'm going to share some of those tweets. It's really crazy. All right. So Joseph, the investigator, has taken the stand. Joseph Cercello of Homeland Security, 18 years. This is what he looks like. Oh, he looks really happy to do his job. Oh, he looks a little sunburnt. I feel like I've seen him in the cafeteria at court. All right. So that's who we've got. Let's get a little update here. Come on, Joey. So he's got a set of text exchanges, but the only name in the exchange is Jane. Subscribe, guys. It says turn off the public screens. All of these exhibits must be provided by Monday, June 23rd. No time given. It says, what's the name of the hotel? One Hotel South Beach, Phillip Pines, 522. It was the 22nd to the 23rd. And it says, $3,050.90 for one night. Oh, it sounds like these are going to be, foundational statements. Homeland Security reviewed thousands of records. Only girl is Jane, likely referring to her as a key victim or witness. It says the prosecution is tying her directly to the evidence. Hey, guys. I don't know why you guys why y'all tell me what other creators are doing. Only person I care about is Mims, honey. I do like it though when you guys are like, oh, well, a lawyer said this. I like legal analysis from other lawyers. And I like questions from Offman's. It says, let me show you something. Jane is realizing that she was trafficked in real time. That's how she is conflicted. Well, I'm conflicted too, waffles and biscuits. I don't believe Jane was trafficked. She might have been mistreated, but I don't think she was trafficked. Is his career over? Why would someone settle if they're not guilty? Oh, we're joking, right? Someone said fire Marshall Bill. They look like him. Jane was jealous about Diddy taking the young hoes on the red carpet. You're going to get Mims beat up. All these guys in the chat are jealous now. Oh, no, Mims is my buddy. We are friends. We do not do it to each other. He gives me dating advice, and he basically thinks I'm a ridiculous person, and I love it because usually I am. A lot of times he'll talk me into making better dating decisions. I says, why isn't anyone bringing up the tunnels under Diddy's house? Didn't Cassie talk about it in her testimony? I don't know. I guess they felt like it wasn't relevant to any of these particular crimes. I guess if they could have, for example, found he had drugs flowing through their substances, that perhaps that could have been helpful. But as Jane referred to Diddy's Toots as her lover, she wasn't coerced. One final thing, guys. I watched on some source that they were claiming that either Cassie or Jane had intimacy with the hookers without them there. I never heard any of that. I never saw that. And also to clarify, the hookers were not trafficked. It's only Jane and Cassie. Yeah, Cassie's Asian. Yeah, Cassie is Filipino and other stuff too. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. And I mean this with all my heart. Hold on, let me wash this camera off. Oh God, I should have been broadcasting like this all day. Damn. This was beautiful. But let me tell you something. The way my ADD is set up, I first of all run out of medication, and they cannot fill my controlled substance prescription in this country. So unless I go get some street drugs, well, it wouldn't be street, pharmacia. I don't really trust pharmacia Adderall because, come on now. I can't sit here and listen to this man reread or regroup text message of Jane doing anything, because at this point, I think Jane's claim is weak based on the facts presented. I also feel that Jane, if he gets convicted for Cassie, if he gets convicted for Cassie, there is a chance he will get convicted for Jane. There's no way he will be found guilty of Jane's situation and not guilty for Cassie. So as a result, whatever happens there, it happens. We'll analyze it after it does. But I'm about to put on my bikini and get the hell up out of here, y'all. I love you. I hope you have a great day. I can't do no much more of this. I'm not going to get no street pharmaceutical, no Mexican street pharmaceuticals. Nuh-uh. That'll have you bubble guts, nutty. I'll probably lose my short-term memory. I'm in Mexico. Somebody was having a birthday. I don't even know who it is, y'all. Somebody just told me, like, hey, girl, you can go to all-inclusive for Juneteenth. I was like, okay. Sure did. And she didn't even come. She's not even here. So I've been making friends with strangers. I met a black man in first class. He was very nice, and he took me away to my hotel. He stayed here, too. Maybe that's like, okay, don't do that. All right, well, if I come up missing, y'all, what's going on? Somebody at the Royalton Chic killed me. Aside from that, talk to y'all later. Bye.